Oh! Somebody! Oh.
Hey y'all, so I'm gonna hop right into this video. So I got this hair from the beauty supply store, you know, something quick, you know, she cute or whatever. So I also got this closure from the beauty supply store. They lied about it being pre-plucked though, it was thick. So you just need basic needle and thread, T-pins with an S, a basic rat tail comb. So I always start off by putting my closure on first, just to lay out the foundation for where my track's gonna go. The T-pins is just to lay the closure as flat as possible. You don't want no gaps in this, because then you're gonna be looking crazy because you gotta start all over. So get this flat. So if you new to this, please don't be like me with the hair out like this, because it'll be so much easier if you tie it up. So I start off by putting 2 T-pins in the front on each side, and then I do 3 in the back. I do 1 on each side, and then I do 1 in the middle, just to have it as flat as possible. So right here I'm just showing y'all how flat it should be. So in the back I do got little gaps here and there, girl, but I know how to tweak it right. So just get it as flat as you can so you can sew it down and it won't have any like humps or like lumps in it once you finish the wig. So here I'm just taking my needle and thread, double knotting the end, and then you're gonna cut the excess off. And then as you start the closure, you want to sew as close as possible to the edge of the closure so you won't have any bumps in the closure. So here I'm just showing you guys how I make sure my first thread is secure. I divide the thread and pull the needle through, and that makes sure that the thread does not come loose. So I'm just continuing to sew the closure down, and as you will see, I'm not pulling the needle through the thread anymore. I'm just sewing it as close as possible to each thread so that my closure won't come up. So here I'm just securing my thread the same way I started it, by pulling the needle through the thread. So I like to sew down each side of my closure separately, so just in case one of my threads do get loose, it won't affect the whole closure. So I'm just showing you guys the finished product of my threading all around. All my threads are close so that I won't have issues with my closure lifting. So now I'm going to start sewing in my tracks. I'm using my T-pins to secure the tracks, and I always start an inch above the end of the cap so that it won't have any gaps in the back of my wig. So I always start off by sewing my tracks by sewing through the track and then through the mesh of the elastic band, because if you do sew through the elastic band, the wig won't fit and it'll be too tight, and you don't want that. So for my first track, I just like to continue to sew through the track and then through the mesh. But you don't have to do that. You can just take the needle under the track and then through the mesh, but make sure your threading is close together. So once I get to the end, I'm just gonna take the needle through the threading and I'm gonna secure it, and then I'm gonna knot it. So I actually don't cut my tracks in the back. I just like to fold them over and continue to sew. So here I'm just showing you guys how I fold my tracks without having any bumps in my wig. I just take it through the width of the track and then through the mesh, and then I pull it tight. So on my second thread, I'm just gonna take it under the track, and then I'm going to pull the needle through the threading like I showed you guys in the beginning, and then I'm gonna pull that tight, and then I'm going to knot it so that my tracks won't come loose. So by this time I was kind of over the sewing. It was late, so I just spreaded out my threads more, and every other thread I would knot so that my tracks wouldn't come loose. Now I'm showing you guys how I end my track before I fold it again. I take it through the track and then through the cap, and then I double knot it by wrapping it over the needle, and then I pull it through and tighten it. So I just continue to flip over my tracks and layer it up till I get to the top. So now that I'm near the top, I'm just continuing to sew around the closure. I'm just showing you guys how my base looks so far. I'm gonna take one more track around, and then I'm gonna start to sew across. So now I'm going to cut the track off, and then I'm going to fill in the middle. So I think I did about 4 tracks in the middle, and I did cut my tracks. So sis is done, thank the Lord. It was so late, I was ready to go to bed.
Oh! Somebody! Oh!
Here's my ugly at 1 a.m. playing. Hold up, because why I look like Medusa?